Hello and welcome. If you are a woman that was born in the 1950s, 60s, or 70s, and some in the 80s, you are going to find this of interest. I have started something called the Come Age With Me movement. It's a tribe of ladies that are learning how to rediscover themselves, to explore their past, to find out what their strengths and their weaknesses are. Why did I start this? I started it because it was a journey that I went on and came out the other end feeling so amazing and so powerful. My name is janetvanwyck. I am a life and business coach. I specialize in personal branding. And as I help my business women, I find that this is the big thing that they're missing. And if they were missing it, the rest of us were probably missing it as well. It's the journey that I've gone on, and I enjoyed every step of the way, and I know you will too. Today, what I was talking about on social media is taking a look at what our strengths are and our weaknesses. There's a very special focus that I like to have, and that is when we were young, it was very different than what it is now. We're living in a time when people focused on the faults and the shortcomings and the negativities. Very much so in school, where the teachers would tell you very, very quickly that you were wrong and to sit down or to be quiet, not empower you to learn, potentially correct you, but more so call you out for it. We had the same thing at home. Our parents were doing the best they could. They were modeling what they learned. Post-war parents, and they were very busy. Kids were meant to be seen and not heard. When you were assigned a chore or a task, you were expected to do it correctly, fully, and the way that they would do it themselves. If you didn't do it that way, it was a harsh correction and go back and do it again. There was no focus on the part of it that you did correctly or that you excelled at. No recognition that maybe the part that you were not doing well wasn't a strength that you had. It was an expectation. You were meant to fulfill it. Now, through this process, we were given very subtle messages that our subconscious brain carried forward and tried to adapt to life as it was being presented to us growing up throughout the ages, and things have changed so drastically. But going along, I found that myself, along with many other people, began to only focus on the negative when we were experiencing our relationships at work, experiencing our sibling relationships, experiencing relationships with our significant others and our friends. Very quick to point out what their faults and shortcomings were, very quick to come down on them for it, and very quick to focus on it and potentially only recognize that this was an issue between us, and if you don't fix it, then we were going to have to take a look at what the situation is going forward. Now, the reality in many parts are that person probably didn't learn a different way to do it, or what you are expecting from them isn't in their wheelhouse of strengths. What I have learned from my daughter and from what I've learned from the generation that she grew up in is that there is a different way to approach it. There's a better way to approach it. And I see parents and teachers embracing it now, and I'm so happy. But what we have to do is go back and redo the work for ourselves, re-examine things with that same mindset. And what is that mindset? It's I see that you're struggling with this. What can I do to help along? What is it that I can show you? How can I assist you in this? That kind of recognition, that kind of soft offer of help is received so much better. Pointing out the positive. I see that you did this. You caught on to that very quickly. Is there something that I can help you with concerning this other issue? That falls much easier as well. It's not something we were exposed to. When you transition into that as an adult, in your adult relationships, you will also see a tremendous change in how you are perceived and received. What we've chosen to do, my husband and I, in our relationship, is to focus on the strengths. Now that we've come to understand each other's strengths, we no longer dwell on the weaknesses and where we're falling short. He recognizes what my strengths are, and I recognize him. He is a very linear, very focused individual, and he's obsessed with the details. Things have to be finished completely. They have to be perfect. I, on the other hand, like to get things started. I like to figure things out, get them moving. I'm not good at the details at the other end of it. I'm not what you would call a finisher. I'm a starter. He's a finisher. When we realize that, now there are no arguments over the fact that I didn't do it up to his standards to finish. He knows that I excel in the start of the program, in the developing of it, in starting a task. I know that he's the other way, so I no longer get frustrated that he is dwelling on what I would consider the minor things that don't have to be done, and he's just holding me up. We respect each other's strengths, and we embrace them, and that empowers us. And it's something that our generation has to learn. So what I suggest and what I task you with is to go back and do some work. Take a look at what your strengths are. And I found mine out through Clifton Strengths, through Sally Hogshead's fascination assessment. There are many different tools that you can use. All of them will give you a different aspect of strengths, how people look at you, how you go forward with it, how you respond to people, different things like this. And it begins to help you take a look at what you previously perceived as a weakness or a fault, reframe it, and see how it connects in with your strengths and gives you the whole picture. And then you are able to take a look at your life, your tasks, whatever the situation is going forward, and get a whole different view of what happened, why it happened, and why you do what you do. What does this do for you? It empowers you to figure out what you should be doing going forward, where your passions are, where your strengths are, where your focus should be. If you'd like any more information on this, please reach out. You can find me on Messenger, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm there under my name, and I'd be happy to connect with you on this. In the meantime, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, hit like, and share it out to your social media so that your friends can hear this really important message and come join the Come Age With Me movement.